2022. We'll make it call to order. We'll start with the prayer and the pledge. Start with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and give us forgiveness of trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory, forever and ever. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As usual, we want to welcome our KJIW listeners, also any Zoom participants tonight, and any other media, the Helena-West, Helena World, and anybody else. Ms. Ramsey, call the roll.
Davis. Here. St. Columbia. Crockett. Franklin is here. Etherly.
Here.
Ford. Here. 5 present, 1 absent.
We're going to start with, this is, again, a special meeting. It's really designed to get us caught up because we've missed a couple of meetings in the last few weeks. So we had a meeting last Tuesday. We'll have a meeting tonight, and then we'll have a regular meeting a week from tonight. So this is our special called meeting. And first action item on the list, recognize Mr. Scroggins. Tony Scroggins, he's our new water manager for the Helena-West Helena Water Company. If you want to come up, there's a fuel bill from Jordan's. Mr. Scroggins, you want to? And the microphone, and then.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to bring you on some updates that's happened in the last week. Several emergencies. We've had a airport road sewer lift station that's been down. Or hopefully tomorrow we can get it going, but we've had houses backed up. We've been constantly working on that. And then we had some fire hydrants that's been hit by automobiles that were repaired yesterday and today. We had a hydrant, so we didn't have to purchase that. We had to put a valve in one of them. This morning, we had a water well at number 9 at West Helena that the motor actually gave out. It's a 100-horse motor, and luckily the Jeff Jones at the well service had one, and Energy got over and they had to change out the service on it. And we finally got it going probably about 4:30. We've been out doing assessing on the sewer lift stations again. And that's, if there's any questions on any of that, I'll be glad to answer them.
Any questions? Been a busy man the last week. So the question before the council is the Jordan's bill. And also we're going to talk a little bit about a few other things, but anybody want to present that first?
The Jordan's bill?
The Jordan's bill for the fuel.
I didn't have an actual bill. I have a memo. Mr. Scroggins is going to present the information.
I know you don't like surprises, so I just wanted to make you aware we are making payments as we can. But as of September the 22nd, our total, there may be some more since we do buy fuel, is $86,686.16. And one of our largest goals is to get rid of the diesel, the bypass pumps. So that's why we're working so hard to get rid of those. But it's become a bi-monthly thing to pay him money. And I just wanted you to be aware of what the bill is.
So that's your diesel bill?
It's fuel for the vehicles and the diesel, but diesel is probably the majority of it. It's averaging there all together about 40,000 a month.
So the reason why we're using the diesel is because we've been running bypass.
Yes, sir.
So with the diesel and the $400,000 we pay. Madam Clerk, do you know how much we've spent on diesel since these pumps have been down?
No, sir.
Can y'all get an accurate number so we can have an estimate on how much we spent?
We do have an estimate on each pump station.
Well, I'm saying a total amount of how much money. See, before you got here, we had this problem with these bypass pumps. This body approved $400,000 to rent some pumps. The former water manager didn't have a plan for these pumps. Here we didn't spend another $400,000 plus. So the citizens need to know how much money we have spent on renting some pumps that we'll never own. How that we didn't have a water manager, how we got here, that this could have been avoided if we had a water manager here to put a proposal together. We had almost a year since Mr. Collier left. We have not had a plan before you got here, and we still renting pumps. You're coming in trying to fix the situation that was broke before you got here. So my thing is, what has this cost the taxpayers? We know that we got some CARES Act money in, or the COVID money in, whatever the case may be, we've gotten in twice. And we have used this money for water, whatever else, but mostly we spend it on bypass pumps. This body approved $400,000 last year, and we turn around and spend another $400,000, and we're not finished spending money on bypass pumps right now. So with the total of diesel bypass pumps, we are probably what, $1.5 million.
What you approved last month, we're hoping to get, they're gonna get started on 2 of those this week. Now, we have gotten rid of one of the largest ones as of last week. And that was just due diligence of getting the parts and
Yes, sir.
getting it put in. The lack of what you're talking about is just having the right personnel and following through instead of just saying, okay, I just give up.
Right.
So that's all I can say about that.
What I'm saying is, not anything against you, that the citizens need to know how much this administration has spent on bypass pumps. We were out without a water manager. Look how much we have spent in this administration with bypass pumps, diesel. They need to understand that this body only appropriates and approves situation. We don't spend any money. It comes from the head of the table. So my thing is, what's the dollar amount that we spent when we didn't have a water manager and one who could pass? Now we have an accurate water manager who's getting things done. The citizens need to know how their tax dollars were spent and how much was spent. Well, if we spent 4 and 4 is 8.
I understand. We'd have to go back probably at least 07, because that's my understanding when some of it started. And follow through, because
Right.
it's just a snowball effect.
I understand, but I wasn't here in 07. Currently, I've been here since we spent $800,000, and I can't go back in time, but I was here just last year when we had an emergency meeting that we had to approve Xylem $400,000, and then we turn around and approve another $400,000. And it's not to beat against nobody, but if you had a water manager here that knew what was going on, we could have saved some money. You could have fixed a pump station, each one of them probably, I don't know, but it wouldn't have been $400,000 that we rented some pumps and we could have our pump stations fixed.
We could purchase pumps.
Right. So I mean,
I'd estimate, you got, just in Helena alone, you got 9 pump stations.
okay.
We're not including any of the West Helena. We haven't got to that. We done assessments. We've been out all day. And that's going to come from a different source of monies. That's not coming from our coffers. So I can't really say a lot at this time about it, but we are applying for that when we get the package together. It's kind of like the financial records. I'm just now being able to get some of those and repeating. I mean, you're only one person, you can't do but so much. And I think it's been a lack. I don't know if it's actually the right word, but just the right people in the right places to actually get things done and get them repaired. And again, the history, you have a lot of vendors that's been called on these things and nothing ever was done. And they won't touch you. And it's just from relationships that I'd like to say that I have, that I've got people that's working on them as quick as we are.
Okay.
And I'm not taking any credit. I'm just saying, I'm just assuring them that they're going to get paid and that we're going to follow through, because I don't want to waste their time and I don't want to waste your time or the cities or the people of the cities. So, I mean, we're just following through. I can't go back in history and tell you anything about that, but I know it's been going for quite some time.
Any other questions? Ms. Crockett? Ms. Gordon?
How much are you paying monthly on this $86,000 to Jordan's?
We pay anywhere from 20 to 40,000. That sounds about correct.
We're trying to pay 20. The water department has paid some, and then the general fund has helped sometimes make that second payment.
So what are you saying?
Well, we're trying, the gentleman from Jordan's would like $10,000 every 2 weeks, from what I've been told. And sometimes the water department doesn't have it, and if the general fund has it, we try to help out.
So we're trying to pay 20,000 monthly.
20,000, but
Okay.
That's hard to do sometimes.
You said something about 40 or whatever. Do you estimate what is the percentage of diesel that is used each month? And I guess the remainder will be what we use in our vehicles, regular gasoline. What's your percentage guess on that?
At least 60%
Is which one?
diesel. Ma'am,
You said it's 40,000 a month.
Okay, but 60% of what number?
the totals.
What's the top, the 80,000 or the 40,000?
The 80 would be, it'd be the total.
The 86 is past due. the
Yes,
past due.
86 is past due.
No, we talking the previous year.
Does it say 40,000 per month? Is right?
Yeah.
He's wanting 10,000 every 2 weeks. The water department may have been able to pay a little more in the past that I don't know about, but right now we're trying to hang in there with the 10,000 every 2 weeks.
Least on average is $40,000. The average bill is $40,000.
That's for
That's
diesel
what's running per month.
and then 40,000.
That's what
He
Mr.
said 86.
I think Mr. Scroggins, what they want to know is out of your monthly consumption, a few of that monthly consumption was paid to a company. How much is diesel versus
I'd estimate at least 60%.
6%?
So, okay, we said something's past due. I think the question is, what does a monthly bill run?
He said it's averaging 40,000.
Right, but, okay, so that's, if it's running 40, is that 40, so are we paying 4, trying to pay another 10?
No,
Do you understand? I'm confused
we're
on the
not
number.
paying additional. We're just maintaining.
Okay, so 40,000 is what is normal consumption? Or is that not normal consumption?
That's
No.
normal at this point.
Okay, so if we were to zero out the 80, we would expect to pay another 40 per month. So if we incur 40 per month, it's 40 plus the past due, which is,
86.
okay. Okay, I'm good. I'm confused, but
Portion is becoming. I mean, if you're just paying 20,000 a month, what you utilize each month will become past to the next month, won't? Yeah. And do y'all have can anybody work for the water company pull up to the gas and vehicles?
Ma'am,
How do y'all keep records of who's putting the gas in the vehicle, what the mileage that it,
on each ticket, as they get fuel in their vehicles, it's written down and turned in to the office manager. The diesel was put in like, they were hauling like 16 5-gallon buckets and doing them by hand. We found we had a tank suitable for hauling diesel. And we bought a electric fuel pump and we put it in and out. We just have one tank for diesel and one person. Where it was taking 2 people 8 hours a day to fill fuel, we're down to one person taking 4 hours a day to do diesel.
Okay, do people get paid mileage plus put gas in their vehicle?
Only their personal vehicles.
Why do we have people putting gas in their personal vehicle?
We shouldn't, except for people that drive their own vehicles for your work.
Okay, I'm saying, why do we have people using their own vehicles to do the city's work?
At this time, we have 7 vehicles down,
Yeah,
7 that's not repairable. We have 1 that needs an engine in it, and the only reason we even consider putting an engine in it is because it doesn't have a 40,000 miles.
so how long, do you remember how long it's been since we bought vehicles for the water company? And what they doing with them?
We're fixing to take them and we're doing a surplus list and we're getting through the surplus quick and get ready to go for an auction.
No, I'm trying to figure out what's causing all the damage to the vehicle.
Whether they're older vehicles, they're just wore out.
We just bought some vehicles.
Those are the newer ones. And I think the newest one is at least 2 years old.
So,
But you're talking about vehicles from 04 to,
No, we didn't buy vehicles, but it's water coming in 4-5.
because the newest one we bought, remember we bought the one that has to be in the water department 80% of the time, but the sanitation department had that pulling the asphalt trailer. And it's supposed to be in the water 80% of the time.
we
So
share that vehicle at
But,
this time.
but you don't supposed to share it. It's supposed to be your vehicle. That vehicle was bought with, Mr. Banner, do you remember
I
that?
don't know why we think
that-
about it to
The,
put gas in their
that-
own vehicles.
that vehicle that we bought, that Mr. Turner, if you would help me out, we bought a diesel truck that goes to the water department. It was the only way we got forgiven for it. It has to stay in the water department 80% of the time, right? The mayor decided to move it to the sanitation department to move the asphalt truck. That's where it is. The truck still don't have, it's over a year old, still don't have any tags on it right now. Am I correct? Okay, so but it's a tag on her desk, but I've been looking at the truck on her desk, but I've been looking at the truck driving down. I saw the people in the water department. Matter of fact, Friday morning, and I asked them, I said, y'all finally got y'all truck back. That diesel truck that was posted on Facebook, pulling the asphalt trailer, pulling the asphalt thing. That's why, remember this body approved the water department to get a diesel truck. It's blue. And right, Ms. Ramsey? It's a purpose light. It's a diesel truck. They bought it for the water department.
It's gas burner truck. There's no diesel.
Yeah, but it's
We
a
have
four-wheel
one
drive.
other, we
Yeah,
have
excuse me,
one
it's a
other.
four-wheel drive, that pulls the asphalt machine.
It's a 2-wheel drive.
Okay, well, what I saw, but you need to hear that. The truck belongs into the water department. That's my main thing. That's a new truck that the sanitation department use it, but it's supposed to be in the water department. It was bought for the water department. In order for us to get forgiven for the truck, it had to be in the water department 80% of the time. The truck stayed in the sanitation department when Mr. Collins was here. We got it right after he left. So the truck is supposed to be in the water department, but it's not. Now it is, since you mentioned it, for the last couple days, they said y'all share it, but this truck's supposed to be in the water department. That's part of y'all. That's the last truck that we bought.
How many trucks do you have running now?
Cost me 9.
That's Helena-West.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And so what you're saying, you only need one more truck?
Ma'am,
You saying you need one truck?
we have 1 3/4 ton over in Helena, that's one that's got the diesel fuel in the backup. They use it. And also use the sewer machine. And pull any equipment they have. The blue truck, West Helena's been using it. If they need the sewer machine, they can go get it while the other crew's out, because if we don't have it, then you've got people trying to run vehicles down. We've got a dump trailer. Another to do the dump trailer, so he's got to cut loose and go do that. That's basically how it's working. We have a dump truck that's inoperable, has been for a while. We're looking at replacing that.
I'm still confused about these people using their personal. The reason I'm saying that is because if they're doing city business in a personal vehicle, and we paying for gas, who paying for the insurance? What happens if something, where they're on a city run and something happens, who's liable?
I would be the police department and answer.
No. I said, who's liable is the, well,
I
maybe,
guess I suppose our insurance.
let me
would
ask
be.
how would our insurance be responsible for personal vehicle? That's what I'm trying to get to see.
I'm not clear on what you're asking me. I'm
I'm
sorry.
asking, you said that people are using their personal vehicle.
No, I didn't. I said, you said that. I said,
No, I did not. You
I
said
only
that
have-
people was putting gas in their personal vehicles because they were using it to do work. Now, you said that.
I've only had one person use his personal vehicle because there wasn't a truck available. And I stopped that.
Was anybody at the meeting 10 minutes ago besides me? Did he not say we're using they what? To put, that's why they was putting gas in it at where? Well, where they was getting gas from? Okay, I was just wondering, was anybody at the meeting but me? So you're saying nobody's putting gas in it.
I do, because I use my personal vehicle at this time.
Why?
I don't have a vehicle to drive.
Why? What happened to the vehicle that went to the water manager?
Went to where?
That the water manager had?
I couldn't tell you. I know there's one at the landfill that's broke down that belongs here. I don't know any others.
Yeah, what, the one that Mr. Patterson had,
He's still driving it.
but they didn't supposed to go with the water manager. So what you're saying is now we're paying for gas for your personal vehicle and we're paying mileage for you to travel back and forth to work.
No, just doing work,
So you don't get paid for mileage.
just for work.
And then you put gas in your car.
That's right. I bought them tires. I buy the maintenance on that. I pay the $100 oil change on my truck. Yes, ma'am, I sure do. It's
But-
legal and it's,
No, it's not. Now that wasn't part of your contract. If
well, I'll stop tomorrow. How about that?
you.
And I'll reimburse you every nickel you want,
Okay, thanks.
period.
Vehicles that are not designated for a department that can be used in that department.
I would say right now, they're all being used for the uses they were intended. No, I mean, the short answer is we need more trucks. We need better trucks, but we have functional limitations, just like, well, that's the short answer is they definitely need more trucks. The new trucks that they got we got that y'all are remembering, I think maybe 4, that went to the general manager and
Okay,
plant managers and
so then,
2 others maybe, and then the F-250 that goes to the asphalt machine, which fills up potholes mostly created by water leaks. They gotta fix one tomorrow that's been there since 2016. It's got a huge pothole created by the water leak. So, and then you got the white truck that pulls the sewer machine he was talking about. So no, I mean, we really need a better, newer fleet and also in the street department. They're suffering, their fleet's suffering. Y'all did approve trucks, but we didn't purchase them because we didn't have the money to purchase them at the time. You've already approved that, though. It's my recollection that you did. So as soon as we get the money, I hope that we can fix the problem in the street department. But in the water department, we're still struggling because of these bypass pumps and similar reasons. That's the best answer to that. Ms.
I just got this. This body has been so great to approve trucks and everything else that you've asked for. I stand corrected. We bought some trucks, and if I'm staying corrected, Mr. Anthony, we don't have a code. We don't have a code enforcement. That truck sits out there right now that he could drive. You can rotate stuff around. You took the code enforcement that offered the guy who runs the deputy director at the landfill. He has a truck. He should park that code enforcement truck back or send it to the water department and get him a landfill truck, or just an old get up and go truck. So you take care of the water department, or let the landfill buy some new truck for him, because you have a code enforcement who up and abruptly left, got sick or whatever the case may be. That truck is sitting out there. You have the human resource director driving a truck. You have a guy who rides a truck all around town to the fish bank and everywhere else, but you can't see, this is what gets me when people talk about this city council. This city council has been good to approve everything that you ask. We pass a budget, Mr. Turner, am I correct? By the 1st of February, this body passed a budget, right? Everything that in that budget we have given. It bothers me that we are demonized when it comes to city finances, but neither one of us signs checks. When it comes to things that are not done, it's pointed at this body. But you, sir, are never held accountable for the mismanagement of your department heads. Your department heads are mismanaging city funds and everything else. But you go around and say that, hey, we're doing good when we spent $800,000 on some pumps that we'll never own. This body approved the folks coming here and flush out your hydrants. They were not held accountable for every hydrant they flushed out. There's a leak. Go back and look at it. Every hydrant they did is a leak on every street. Is water still running? Miss Crockett in her ward, you got water running all down the streets on the side of the road. People are sick and tired of excuses, but this city council don't do but two things. And every time we turn around, it's put on us. You went out, you bought some dog kennels that wasn't approved, and you want to blame us. So when will you start telling folks the truth that you really, sir, just doing what you want to do? And when you get around people, you say, hey, it's us. But you do what you want to do with who you want to do it with. But the citizens are suffering $800,000 on renting a pump, renting pumps. That's not me. Don't shake your head at me.
It's not.
That's you. You run day-to-day operations, sir. Not I, not Miss Crockett, not Miss Ford, not Miss Davis, not Mr. Anthony, not Miss St. Columbia, and not myself. You run day-to-day operations. We are, just like you say, about the payroll taxes, a lot of stuff you know about, but you want to get in dark corners and holler about this city council is not working with you. I'm not going to beat up on you because they'll start feeling sorry for you, because the truth is the truth. Our job is done February the 1st, when we approve a budget, and anything else that you ask us to do, we've done. You asked for a water manager, we gave you that. You asked for an interim, we gave you that. Whatever we ask, whatever you're doing, it revolves around. Look at your situation. You said the buck stopped with you. Them pumps should have stopped at $400,000. They should have stopped with you, and you should have had somebody in here to fix that. But here we are to spend another $400,000 and some more money. I mean, look at what you're doing. We don't want to end up like Jackson, Mississippi, but under your leadership, we will be, if you don't start getting things corrected quickly and in a hurry, and stop your folks from being down on the fish bank fishing, and stop having your folks being everywhere else that run this city, and stop having your other folks doing stuff that you should be doing. Stop having folks going out cutting trees that don't belong to us, moving folks' cars. This we have paid for damaging somebody's car. Have we not, Ms. Ramsey? We paid this Patrick Carter moved somebody's car cut trees behind their house. And Mayor, you know, you got, don't get like
Mr.
that.
Franklin,
The
Mr.
truth is the
Franklin,
truth.
we have, the reason we're having this meeting is because we're behind on business. And we're
Well,
behind on
I'm- the
business
reason why we have
because
to be-
we belabor issues that aren't before the body.
Yeah,
What's
it's-
before the
it's a
body,
private
what's before the body is the petroleum bill
Yes, sir.
at Jordan's.
I apologize.
And
for
I
getting
want,
to that.
no, I want to correct the record, since you want to be held accountable. On September 7th, 2021, almost a year ago, in the minutes, and I'm going to read, Mayor Smith advised that he had reached out to a vendor to repair and replace the non-working pumps, and the estimated cost would be approximately $250,000.
Mhm.
More discussion was held, which resulted in the following: a motion by Chris Franklin, seconded by St. Columbia, to appropriate funding for $250,000 for pump repair replacement. And it was approved.
And what did you
And,
do?
and
What did you
these,
do?
and
What, no, listen,
and-
what did you do?
and
'Cause
I-
I approved that.
no,
I
no,
approved it.
I'll let
It's
you
it's your duty. It's your duty to get contract.
No.
No, it's your duty. Because I don't
Mr.
have the
Franklin.
day of operation. Once I approve something in the budget, it is your responsibility. Just like you pay these little side contracts that are $5,000. No, Mr. Mayor.
you're
let's get it
talking over me because you don't want to know the punchline. The
No, the
punchline is
punchline I
2 months
approved it,
later,
that
you,
you, the CEO of the city, could not carry it out.
Mr. Franklin,
Thank you.
2 months later, this council unappropriated the money for the pumps. And here we are now paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in diesel and rental fees that we could have avoided if you'd have listened to me.
We did listen to you. You.
And that is the record.
Hold on, Ms. Crockett.
That is the truth.
If we were in the situation that you said, when we approved the $250,000, the money was there the day that we approved it. 2 months later, you had not made any attempt to correct the problem.
Lack of
So don't make it seem like that we're the one did it. You didn't try to
And-
correct the problem.
And let's,
So if the money laying there,
Those-
and
those
they
are the-
telling us we was getting some more, yeah, we did that.
and let's correct,
This-
let's
that-
correct the
no,
record, Ms.
no.
Crockett. He said that.
No, that's enough. You had,
You
we've
can
all
tell
had,
us enough.
we've all had our say.
No.
Now the
me
question,
too. My
you can
question
make,
still don't-
you can make your campaign speeches, but
I ain't made no
tonight,
campaign
I ain't got
speech.
one to make.
tonight, right
You-
now,
you-
we have the petroleum bill before this council. What is your pleasure? What do you want to do about it? That's the question.
Mr. Turner, do they have the?
Talking about, we're talking about. I mean, Andre maybe can. Officer man side. But I'm kind of the opinion that the mayor has a purchase limit of $5,000, right? I mean, he makes all the purchases. The purchases have been made. That no purchase for fuel cost over $5,000, right? So the purchases have already been made. I don't see where, and Andre can maybe help me out because I may be thinking wrong. I don't see anything that you guys necessarily have to approve. He's made the purchases technically. State gives him the exclusive power and responsibility to make purchases, or him or the authorized representative. So the purchases have been made, whether you pay 1 or 10 at a time or whatever, just because you pay multiple invoices that go over $5,000. I don't think that was the intent of the law. The law is saying you can't spend anything on one purchase over $5,000. I don't think we necessarily need your approval to pay so many dollars in bills.
In other words, each bill was less than 5,000.
Yes.
This is a past due bill that's over 5,000. So I'll wait. Mr. Valley can opine on it.
Well, this is precisely why the council passed the $5,000 limit. The issue theoretically is that these are separate purchases over $5,000, but the primary issue is the administration knows beforehand we're gonna spend over $5,000 in a year on these purchases. And specifically, what should be done is say, council appropriate $50,000 for this, so I won't have to come back to you. And we wouldn't be having these discussions. And that's why you're getting into serial contracts, because all it has to happen on the front end and say, okay, I know the water department is gonna spend $50,000. Council, will you approve that for, well, however much it is for the year? I don't know what the bill is, because I wasn't here when y'all discussing that. But that should happen on the front end, so we wouldn't even have these discussions. a lot of these minor discussions, if they just had on the front end, we wouldn't even be having. We know we're gonna spend money on diesel. But this is the definition of a serial contract because it's over and over and over and over and over again. It's aggregate over $5,000. Well, I don't know how much I'm gonna spend on gas in a particular time. Each one of them is smaller. But the whole concept is that you're trying to take one issue and resolve it so there'll be clarity. And if it's done, then it'll be done. Now, the purchases have been made on this. Fuel is specifically exempted from heating. And the issue, because the prices change regularly. The issue in this, I think, is that the council, from this point forward, we just know how much you need to spend in gas for the rest of the year as appropriate and move on. Because this is going to be a spending that's going to happen over and over and over and over again. And it's one that communication between the administration and the city council should occur. And many of these things could be wiped out if we just had those conversations here at the table and just did it. Like, okay, I need 100,000 this year for fuel. I know I'm gonna spend that much on fuel. Mayor, you had the authority. You don't have to bring that back to us again once you start doing that. But that's what the conversation was anticipated. But because of the animus between the administration and the council and the back and forth going relating to it, we have these discussions over and over again. There's no willingness to bring forth, say, okay, I need to spend this much this year on this and just get it all looked at one time and you'll know what it is. Tree cutting. Yeah, you're cutting different trees all over the city, but to the extent that you're going to appropriate it, so we're going to do it, then the council could take a second look at it and just do it. But on this situation, at this point, we owe the money. And I know you all are tired of me saying, well, just go ahead and pay it. But at some point, there has to be this communication has to take place. And the feedback, I don't know how much it is or how much you all even discussing because I wasn't here the first 15 minutes of this meeting. But in theory, what Mr. Turner is saying is that, well, each one is a separate transaction. But the discussion and intent, because I was there and there was intensified meetings with the city council, because I was city attorney being, they wanted to look at the whole amount. If you're spending over $5,000 on anything over the year, they wanted to have a second look at what you're doing. Part of this is to look at budget variances, to properly determine what you're spending each month, each year. And so everybody will be informed as to regulating. The council has two primary functions, finances and real property, not personal, real property. And so those are the things that you all are charged with doing. And I would caution the council also, every mayor always talks about council's micromanaging. I don't know all the facts of this, so I'm not saying you're micromanager, but it's one of those things that I think that when I look at a particular item such as fuel and those sort of things, if you just talk about that once, look at it, you know what you're going to spend, get it appropriated, you already appropriated, but get it approved for the spending limit. Before I met with Mr. Scroggins first time, I told him about the $5,000 limit and the need to look at his budget and have those discussions with council so that we can move forward and the water utility wouldn't be limited in that sense. I don't know what the lack of willingness, I'm saying about him historically, I'm talking about before him. I don't know what the lack of willingness is just to be candid and do it. But this is pretty simple to me. It's just, I look at it in terms of, I have a daughter, she has an amount that she's supposed to spend. And before she spends, I talk to me, Daddy, can I do this? Can I do that? And that's it. I know that's a rather simplification of it, but the city council is in charge of more, period. And the mayor's in charge of the purchases, period. You all, and it's to work together. Mayor, this is how much you have. It's okay, I can spend within that. This problem about the trucks, that's an administration thing that the mayor is free to move trucks from here to there to accomplish the city's purposes. If there's a truck that someone's using and he needs a truck and you don't have the money to pay for someone, move somebody to keep going. That's just the administrative thing. Coordinate between department heads and get it done. I mean, that's not something really to come before the council. If you have, then appropriate some money to do it if you can purchase it. If the city treasurer and the city clerk are saying you don't have the money to do it, the other option is for the mayor, the administrator, say, okay, you had a truck, you don't have one no more, let's move forward and go about it. We need somebody else to have it. And so those things are things that I think I'm growing tired of hearing of at this point. But anyway, I'll yield to anybody else who has anything to say.
I mean, just to kind of want to, let me explain a little bit better, I guess. I think I know what I'm trying to say is this. I don't think the city council needs to approve the payment of the bill. I think they appropriated the money for the fuel costs. These were small purchases, $30 here, $50 here, $100 there. It's just like we have streetlights. So we may get a $10,000 bill for streetlights. We don't come in here and say, hey, can we pay $10,000 for streetlights, because each pole has a different charge. One pole may be $1.87 or something like that. So by the time we get it in total, it's one bill for multiple. For each pole or whatever. These purchases are individual purchases. The purchases have been made. It's a matter of payment management. It's not whether city council needs to approve the payment. You have already said it's okay to buy.
But if it's not in the
appropriations
budget,
of fuel.
but
We have
if it's
fuel costs are in the budget.
I understand, but has it gone over?
Now, that may be a
That's what I'm
question, but
saying.
no
So
one has,
if it's gone over what was in the
Well-
budget, it has to be approved.
no one has said that I don't know,
Well,
because no one has said, I need
that's-
additional appropriations. What they're asking you for is approval to pay a payment.
Yeah.
That's two different things. Now,
So
Yeah.
I feel like it should be before us anyway. My only concern is why is it $86,000?
but that would be cash management. Are we buying too much stuff? Are we out purchasing our cash flow? That's a thing, but that's a cash management thing. That's not whether we need the approval or the mayor, or whoever's making the payments need approval to pay that.
Let's pause for a second. Here's the problem with the ordinance altogether. And that's why I'm saying that I disagree with Mr. Turner in this sense. The mayor has exclusive right of purchase according to 1458-303. It's his exclusive right. The council has the right to limit that spending and set an amount. And when the council did so, they said any contract over $5,000. And they were saying for the year. And so the city council wanted to know all of those purchases and going through it. And so that's how it is written. I didn't write it. The city council members drew it up themselves and they approved it themselves, and that's how it's written. And so though it's appropriated once, what practically has to happen is it has to come back again for the council to be informed, like, oh, you're gonna spend over $5,000? You didn't let us know that. And that's how it's written. And that's how the law was written. I wasn't the person that authored it, but that's how the city council did it. And so that's why I'm saying, even though you're saying this contract may be under 5,000, it's 1,000, it's 500, it's this, that, those cumulative contracts. What the council said was those were considered serial contracts in the ordinance, and they wanted, if it's gonna be $5,000 over the year, you had to come before us. It is what it is. And I understand you have $8 million in the cash available to you, and you have water utility and all that. I didn't write it. I keep telling you all what it says. And so that's where we are. Now, this is something that's Councilmember Davis is saying that this is something that is a necessary thing, and she's curious as to why it gets to 86,000. The practical issue is if you come to the front door, it never gets to 86,000. Because you just say, I know that I'm gonna have to spend this much money. Here's my budget variance. Instead of you had those type of discussions, we wouldn't come through and say, well, I can spend $86,000 and then I need you all to prove it, et cetera. We keep going through this from a perspective of it's wait, and then it's a colossal bill, and then you have it on your desk to say, let's pay it. Yes.
Whatever, we're paying $10,000 a month The money managers are $20,000.
I wouldn't ask you to pay the entire bill. I would just inform you of what the balance was and what we were doing.
No, that is not what, I don't think that's what she's saying. She's talking about how much is already being paid. That's what I was saying. I think that's what she's saying.
The checks and keep up with the finances or whatever. We're paying 20 and we're going back and charging 40. What would it look like? Could we do if we could go ahead and absorb that bit? Just can we pay half of it and the next month pay the next half so that we can kind of start? Because I don't see us getting anywhere paying 20 and charging 40.
But
We still will be delinquent.
I think that's what Mr. Scroggins' point is that just like he said a second ago, he was just informing you guys what it was. And like I said earlier, that should be more of the manager, the general manager or the clerk or the office manager trying to decide how much they can pay the vendor based on the cash flow, not whether the city council, whether or not he approves for you to pay. I don't think.
So-
Other than what Andre said, Andre is saying that since it's a zero contract, that
Let me
With $86,000 on, he wouldn't have said anything. I'm just saying, how can we?
but if we still don't have the money to do it,
Oh, that's why I was asking you.
Yeah, if you're gonna
That's why I
pay
was asking the people
Wait.
down there who write the checks or tabulate that.
So let me pause for just a second. Mr. Ethel was just telling me off the record what this diesel is relating to the rental of the pumps that we discussed last month, where we spending $40,000 in rental, and then this diesel is in addition to that. Was describing this is the first time as city attorney I've even heard of the dollar amount. I've heard that we've written, I thought that was included. And so this preseason. Last week.
All decrease as we get rid of these pumps. We've already
Yes, sir.
appropriated 3 to get rid of. We've already gotten rid of 1.
So the 86,000 was in addition to the $60,000 a month in rental that we discussed last month, which was reduced by the appropriation they made, not last month, last week, the appropriation they made. Is that correct? Because I wasn't here the first 15 minutes.
You mean you made the asylum?
And paying Zion,
That's
Last-
get caught up just like the fuel. I mean, just like any other.
Right.
bill, electric bill or anything.
right? So in addition to the 60,000 that we were discussing last week, this fuel cost is in addition to that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so what you're trying to get to do is clear up all the past part for it.
Yes.
This is absolutely a serial contract relating to all the things with Xylem and et cetera, because the two go hand in hand. The practical issue, Ms. Scoggins, had nothing to do with you. It all predates you. I appreciate your city attorney laying all this out. The practical issue that I have is I don't know if all that's been budgeted. I don't know if all that's been discussed. It is a major practical issue because what we're seeing is the water department has basically bled the city. Because you're saying $60,000 a month there, then we got $86,000 for the diesel. Then we wasn't paying the sanitation rates and et cetera, and all those things go hand in hand, and that's why that ordinance is what it is. Now, this is in address to you. I appreciate you bringing it forward. I think that at this point, this has been very poor management. There's no way that a $30,000 fix should be costing the city $60,000 a month plus 86,000, which is over 600,000. The city just received what should have been a windfall for it for $1 million from the American Rescue Act, and we spent it all paying bills from water utility. No, I'm saying we just received that. We paid it all. And that's not to cast aspersions on anyone. I think the thing about it is, I think we just need to resolve the issue and go forward because it's $86,000. Once we pay the diesel fuel, the question I have is how much longer are we going to be spending diesel? How much are we going to be spending per month? Because the practical issue that you stepped into, for whatever reason, the city council has asked many times for the detail from the emergency going forward as to water department expenditures. There's never been a detailed discussion in this city council meeting, a regular, about what happened, what's the status, what is the finances of the water utility, what were all the expenditures from the emergency going forward, why are we spending this? To head now. There was discussion about Xylem. There were discussions about fixes for other leaks and et cetera. But the fullness of the conversation that you're beginning to have with this body, this is just happening. And so most of us are looking like deer in the headlights about all of this. Now, the thing that needs to happen is we need to resolve all those issues and go forward, but the body still needs to know the status of what it is. Why the utility bills, the sanitation is not paying the city. What's the how far in the hole are we looking, and how far in the hole have we been, so they can make a proper discussion. These discussions have to be had. This is an ugly conversation. I don't like participating in it, but the facts are the facts at this point. We spent $1 million over the past month on issues relating to the water utility. And that money will do a lot of other things that we could have done. Now, that's not pointing fingers at any person. I'm just stating what the record shows. But the $86,000 at this point, I think the body needs to deal with that. But I think also the body needs to be aware as to how much per month is the city spending on the diesel, and how many other things we said. Because when you stated last week, pumps 1, 3, and 5, you were going off with, and they appropriated money for another 3 weeks per month, $41,000 to go forward out of the American Rescue Act. But the other issue that they were trying to see is how much will the city be spending in the future on it. Now, I understand you got great news. You and the mayor have been talking to about the potential grant that you may receive and et cetera. But until that comes to fruition, and unless that comes to fruition, I still need to understand what is the status. With that, I yield to any one of you to respond.
I don't have it. I'll get you an update on exactly how much is diesel, how much is gasoline. No different than fire department. You don't know when fire is going to happen. You don't know when you're going to have an ambulance run. You don't know how much you're going to use. You just know how much you use annually and how much you average.
Yes, sir. I understand.
And the fact is, we do have more issues with a water system that's 60 years old, water plants that built in the 50s. It's everywhere. It's not just here, but you've got to go forward and keep working on them. I mean, does this body not adhere to the municipal league bylaws?
We do.
Well, apparently they don't, because I've been called something else. But I'm going to resolve that with the city attorney tomorrow,
What about the misleading?
but that's fine.
Back to the question before the body about the petroleum bill. What of the council on the petroleum bill?
Do they have, before you hit your gavel, do they have the funds to pay for it? Are we gonna have to borrow some money from the rest of the plan that we got, the money for to help pay for this? So where do you have the money in your department to pay for this petroleum? Do you have that? Or we have to wait until the water department, wait till the sanitation charges come in to pay the bill? We could do that. We've been doing it so long, Mr. Mayor.
What I would suggest is just to be able to pay them a bi-weekly until we start getting rid of these pumps. And let's work it and let's get the bill paid and keep it maintained.
Do you have the money?
No. No.
So to the head of the table, where can you find the money from? Mr. Turner, can you help us out? Because the citizens pay a sanitation charge every month. And the city doesn't, the general fund doesn't get it. It stays over there and they use it and they pay us when they get ready. So where can we find this money to
Mr.
help them
Franklin,
out?
the way I would answer that question is to just tell the general manager that, the water manager, that it's okay to try to work out paying this bill it the best way you can with the funds you have available.
All right, Mr. Stryker, it's okay, work out a plan, the best way you can to get the money from your department.
Thank you.
That's
That-
what
I mean,
Let me-
you can't tell him, if he doesn't have $80,000, we can't tell you to pay $80,000. The best thing to do is manage this and say, go to whoever it is, who's George. And
Sure.
say, go to George and say, hey, let us pay what we can. That's why I didn't think it was, I thought it was, I didn't see why the council would have to approve. Because you're not approving for the water department to go and write $86,000 check.
So what is the will of the council?
I just told you.
You're not the council, you're. one
I would like, some type of budget impact information presented to us. In other words, this has cost us something. Are we in line? Are we out of line? Because the council can't take official action if we don't have numbers in front of us.
Yeah.
And right now, what I'm hearing, the numbers are quite overwhelming because we haven't discussed this in terms of numbers. What I would like is to know how this has impacted the water department budget for the year. And we can just focus on that because we can't take official action because it seems like we're in deficit spending territory. And so I don't see how we can take official action as a body unless there's a way to pay for it.
Any other comments?
I agree.
It could be paid, it would have already been paid if they had the money in general funds or water.
Any other comments from the council,
It's-
from other members of the council who haven't spoken yet? Anybody else?
But I personally don't think that if they're not gonna have a check and balance list where people are putting gas in their personal vehicles and the city's being charged for that, I don't see where they should, that's why we're in the hole. Why are we paying nobody never answered the question because Mr. Scoggins said one time he said one thing, then he came back and said he didn't say it. But people are being paid, they putting gas in their personal vehicle and then they being paid for mileage. That don't make sense to me.
I mean, I don't think you can do that. You shouldn't
It's
be,
being done.
because as far as my understanding is that the policy is, if you use your personal vehicle, we pay mileage. We don't buy fuel. If you use a city vehicle, we pay fuel costs, but you don't get mileage. So if you're using your personal vehicle to conduct city business, the only thing you should get is mileage. You shouldn't get fuel paid for as well. It's got to be one of those.
And that's by ordinance. Right.
It's by ordinance what?
That's by ordinance that was passed by the council. That's how it's done. But I will add, I think there was some miscommunication, but you correct me if I'm wrong about that. The personal vehicles, when you first mentioned, you were talking about the vehicles that those who drive the trucks, they're detailed to them. They're city trucks, not when you were talking, there weren't 7 people using their personal vehicle. Ms. Crockett, I'm asking Mr. Scoggins to clarify.
You're trying to tell him what to say.
Ms. Crockett, please don't interrupt.
You interrupted.
Ms. Crockett,
Mr. Smith.
I'm trying to get you clarification. I don't believe we have 7 individuals using their personal vehicles.
One is all I've ever,
But what
He
we
was
do
authorized.
have are 7 individuals who use trucks that are detailed to them. And for the public's understanding of how the policy works here is if you are on call 24/7 for the city of Helena-West, and you get to take that vehicle home, you get to use it as, for the most part, as a personal vehicle, but you have to pay taxes on that vehicle. Is that not right, Mr. Turner? Do we not have to treat that person differently than someone who parks it at about 4 o'clock and goes home?
You have to treat the commute back and forth to work as a taxable benefit. So it's nothing that comes out of their check, but it's a benefit that the city provides to that employee.
But it's
So we
on
have-
their
It's
W-2.
added to their W-2,
Yeah.
and it can only be,
So
I
it's
don't know,
taxed.
yeah, it can only be, and it's, the purpose of it is to commute back and forth to work. And you can do any little, stop by the grocery store on the way to work or something like that, but it's not to go to South Haven or take your kids to
Go
the
fishing.
Pee Wee football game or anything like that.
Well, actually, you
I'm not
can't,
saying that that's what
you
they
can
did, just-
use it for some personal use. That's not true at
As-
all.
As far as I know.
If you're a department head or if you're somebody on 24/7 call, then yes, generally speaking, the policy is you can have a vehicle and you can take it home. But you have,
IRS regulations say that that vehicle can only be used for the commute back and forth to work.
Uh,
If it's for the taxable benefit.
for taxable purposes, but I'm really referring to the policy of the city. So, and the purpose for that, and if you've ever been through an emergency as a mayor or a department head, you know why that's important because, and we kind of joke around here that most of the stuff that happens after hours and on weekends. So, emergencies, whether small or big, happen all the time. And that's where that policy.
I
originated.
mean, if it's an emergency, it's for a city business.
Right.
It's
But
not your personal emergency.
But
Like,
I just trying to clarify originally the miscommunication. You weren't referring to 7 people who took their 7 personal vehicles to work and used city gas for 7 personal vehicles. You're talking about the vehicles that were detailed to them. Ms. Crockett, please. I'm trying to get clarification on your question.
Essential, the people that use vehicles are essential personnel, water plant personnel, sewer maintenance people, water maintenance people. They're essential personnel. Meter readers are not essential personnel. If they're went out, if they're doing work hours, they want to stop and take a break, I have no issue with that. I mean, it's no different than police or firemen stopping and getting him a cold drink. That's his personal for 15 minutes to stop and have a drink. But to be using it, if he's, not an essential personnel, going to Walmart and all this, no, that's not allowed. If it happens, I'll darn sure take care of it. But as far as I know, I haven't been reported that it's been happening.
Anyway, I was just trying to clarify the issue about personal use of vehicles. Ms. Crockett.
Okay, I just heard y'all say that essential personnel take the vehicles home because they are on call 24/7. Did I not hear y'all say that before?
Not
Hello?
not everybody.
Well, I'm saying whoever take the vehicle home that we discussing, I'm not saying everybody, I'm talking to people who take the vehicles home and the ones that y'all talking about that you can use them for their personal use, because they on call 24/7. Is that what y'all not saying?
In the case of
I
the
didn't
water
say
department,
that.
the water department, yes.
He said that. Him right there.
I don't know.
So my thing is, if a person is on call and has the vehicle that they're taking home every day, are we paying them for being on call 24/7?
No.
Okay, so then how are you working? You're not on call, because people that's on call get paid for being on call.
How would
The
you
city of
expect
Helena-West
someone,
held it,
if you expected police officer to respond and he didn't have a vehicle and he had to get in his vehicle and drive 100 miles an hour across the town, how do you expect him? He's not going to answer his phone. That's just essentially it.
No, we're not here to talk about, we're talking about the fuel bill. So I gather,
Don't cut me off there.
you got-
I'm talking
you got-
there like
excuse
you told
me,
me.
Mayor.
Don't do
you
that.
got your question
No, I
answered.
did not. No, I did not. 'Cause,
Then what,
we got-
then what,
Mr. Babbitt, can you help me?
Ms.
If
Crockett,
somebody's considered on call, do they have to be paid for being on call?
For being on call?
Yeah.
Not until they start working.
What? Where y'all do that at?
this is.
If
slow.
you're, see,
Not
'cause
static.
basically what you're saying is, no, that's what I'm saying. Basically what you're saying is, when somebody leaves the water company, what, 4:30, that's what time y'all call? They have to answer their phone until 8 o'clock the next morning. So that means that if an emergency breaks out, somebody has to be on call to say, I'm calling Mr. Franklin, he needs to come here. What happens if a water break out and you and that person in the truck going to do our daily, and nobody answered the phone. I'm not
We,
understanding how you
we
have somebody
we,
on call.
we
and
have
not being
people
paid.
scheduled. We have people scheduled every weekend.
So why do everybody, that's my, thank you, you're helping me now. Why do everybody? have to
Because
take-
not all of them doing that one job. We took two guys that was doing,
Don't get up.
well, I'm just saying, we took two guys that was doing diesel 8 hours a day. Now we use one guy for 4 hours a day. That makes a lot of cost saving expense to me
Yeah, it makes.
because we just bought one piece of equipment to do it.
All I'm asking is why do, you say you got 7 people that's assigned to 7 trucks? Why do they, all 7 of them have to take them home every day? That's all I'm asking.
Because if that one vehicle, one person on call has a water break, he can't fix it by himself.
It takes 7 of them.
Sometimes it may.
Okay, okay.
This one down here,
But you're not calling
this-
7 of them at the same time. All 7
you'll
people
call
ain't gonna call.
everybody you can find.
He said the 7 trucks that he got, they're assigned to people and they take them home. None are parked at the water company. All the vehicles that the water company got goes to somebody's house at night.
I guess we need to get the police officer to come by there and make bank deposits every afternoon. I don't know where this is going. I'm sorry,
One
Mayor.
example
I got
of
it.
micromanagement and day-to-day affairs. Because we're sitting here having to tutor you on how this works.
For them to run them cars all day, and you can micromanage that.
Ms. Crockett,
Mr.
this is not an uncomfortable conversation. This is about chickens coming home to roost. Because again, on September 7th, we approved $250,000 out of ARPA money to repair these pumps and replace them, or we wouldn't have this problem today. You actually voted against it. The council approved it, but you voted against it on September 7th, 2021. And December 13th, 2021, this council unappropriated those funds. And now these chickens are coming home to roost. One of the chief reasons for these diesel costs are the cost of running these bypasses. No,
I'm
ma'am.
talking about no
No,
diesel.
ma'am.
I'm not talking about no diesel.
When I
I'm
became
talking-
mayor,
You're not putting diesel.
yes,
in
you
your
are.
truck.
Yes,
You're
we
not
are.
putting diesel in your truck. I'm talking about the regular diesel.
Ms. Crockett,
Diesel
this is about,
down the street.
Ms.
And
Crockett.
no, you started saying that we approved it. Yes, we approved it, but
That's right.
you sit on your
And you voted against it.
criteria and waited 3 months to even try to fix the problem. The money was just laying there.
You
And
wouldn't even
then
know
what?
that.
Yeah,
First
yes,
of
I do.
all, no.
Yeah, well, they talked to the people that said that Michael.
You said repeatedly, this is the first we've heard of it. But the truth is, most of the bypasses were here when I became mayor. I was first person, I was, Mr. Franklin. Mr. Franklin. Mr. Franklin. Jack Ross.
No,
Jack
what
Ross
happened?
told
You couldn't
about
keep him
this.
either, could you? Everybody you decided that you couldn't keep, but
Yeah,
you decide that you wanna, the police department, we got all this shooting going on. You won't let the police chief do his job. You wanna control everything, but man, let's move on to get something that's done, cause it's gonna be 8 o'clock.
Because you don't want your chickens to come home to
My
roost.
chickens, I'm gonna eat my chickens when they come home.
We tried to tell you, Jack Ross tried to tell you,
Hey,
everybody,
what did
including
you-
me,
Did you?
we
fix the
had-
problem? You did not
had-
say, hey, I'm gonna get it fixed.
I-
You said this. This is what you always do. You'll wait. Just like everything else. Stop trying to reach.
You know-
Wait a minute, brother.
yeah.
You do the
talk over
same
me
thing.
because
You
don't
know
want-
why? Cause
you
you
don't
do
want
the
people to
same
know the
thing,
truth.
everything. You don't either.
You don't-
That's
you
how
don't.
you got here, a false flagging. Let's be real. If you're gonna handle the city's business, handle the business. If you knew, if all this stuff is going on, you sat there, you got rid of, when
This is
when
nothing
Benzine
more.
Collier tried to tell you the real issues of this city, you dismissed him. We had an accurate water manager who was telling us what was going on with this city. You got mad because you didn't like him. So you decided to get rid of him. And guess what? We got what we got because we got a mayor who wants to run everything, every department. And that's why we're in this situation. Long as the council giving you jumping up and down, going to the Kiwanis Club, feeling how good the city council. The first time you don't get something, you like a little kid. You take all your toys and want to run home and play in the ditch. Man, grow up. Let's fix these issues. Mr. Scroggins, this body has decided that, hey, you got to find your money the best way you can. That's it. Let's move on to something else. We got more things on the agenda to handle. We can't be sorry, but you should have got the mayor before you got here. Y'all should have a backdoor meeting, see how y'all gonna find some money, because guess what? You don't have the money. We can't appropriate none. go back and talk to these people, tell you, do the best you can, what you got, and we see you later, next on the agenda, because we got to go, it's finna get late. I'm sorry, I can't help you, I love to help you, but hey, if he can't find it, I sure can't find it. Thank you. You have a good night. Next,
So I take it you don't want to.
we ain't doing nothing, we just told you.
You're not running this meeting.
You ain't either.
Okay, so please try your best not to interrupt and talk over everybody, so we can get through the agenda. This was a meeting you requested, I might add.
I did.
So, all right, so we're not going to deal with the truck issue, which was the next
sir.
item on the agenda. So I'm going to deal with something that came up last week,
I'm finna go.
and then we'll move forward.
We- Oh,
The
big.
Mr. Franklin, we have a $6,290 bill for rental of the dump truck or the dozer, I'm sorry, last week. We rented it a week ago tomorrow. The dozer, it's my understanding that you approved it for a week. Tomorrow will be the beginning of another week. And they are requesting to rent it again, $6,290. I can't approve that unless you do. So I'm bringing that up to you because we are meeting. It's up to you. It's the same situation as last week. It's taking them longer to fix it, the one that's out. So it's whatever you want to do. If we don't have a dozer at the landfill, we can't move garbage. If we can't move garbage, then we can't take garbage. If we can't accept garbage, then we don't make money. And we've been talking about financial issues and problems. This would make it worse. Are you asking to be recognized?
You saw my hand up.
I didn't see your hand. You're recognized.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to help you, but I want to finish old business. That's new business. Let's fix what's on this agenda first, because we can't get through. Our scale just need, you can hold that. Let's get some of this stuff off the agenda. Don't do that. Don't push what you want first. Let's handle this first. We got guests here. Let's handle some of that. Let's handle some of our business first. What you want to do is put what you want to put on it. Let's handle this. And if we have enough time, Mr. Mayor, we'll come back and handle it. But I like to handle what's on the agenda. Stop
I
pushing
just
this stuff
wanted
first.
to make sure,
We can do.
based on the fact that we spent an hour and 15 minutes talking about the bill, based on that, I'm not very confident that we're going to get very far down this agenda. And this is an issue that will fix the city in a big way. You approved it a week ago. It needs to be approved again, I believe, legally for us to rent it again, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Valley. And Mr. Valley, if I'm mistaken, you only approved it for a week last week. So I just wanted to make sure I brought it to your attention while you were here and we have a quorum. Anybody else? Before we move on? Okay. If we don't do that tonight, then we won't be able to get the dozer. We'll have to shut down the landfill. So. All right, so ordinance 29, dealing with conflict of individuals, businesses. Mr. Valley, you ready for that tonight? Conflict of interest, individuals and businesses, that's the
I
next.
think
item.
Mr. Ethelred, the one that had it tabled the last time. I don't know if he's ready to discuss it. It's conflict of interest ordinance.
Oh, I understand. I don't think that I asked it to be placed on this agenda and to the issue at the landfill. Before it gets in too far in the review. There's a practical issue in that this is a special call meeting. And the landfill issue is not on the agenda. And I would defer to the city attorney, but I don't know how we add things to the agenda tonight that are not already on the agenda.
Well, I defer also. That's why I asked Mr. Valley's opinion on it, but.
Well,
But
I think
we'll do whatever. I mean, I'm willing to do whatever he suggests.
to answer Mr. Ethelred's question, I think that the whatever was set on the agenda, I don't know what was notice was sent out, but the special call meeting should be limited to whatever's on the agenda. And I was handed the mayor's agenda by him just a second ago. But I don't see the issue on the agenda relating to the landfill issue. it is a pressing issue, as the mayor is saying, we have to cover the dirt every day, but y'all may have to have another meeting before the week is over. I don't remember what day, how many days you been in for? When's the last one expire?
Tomorrow. We only rented it for a week. And
Okay, but we didn't approve it till last Tuesday, so they already had it.
I'm sorry.
They must have already had it, because we didn't approve it till last Tuesday
No,
night.
they did not already have it, but the rental, it might be Thursday, but I know that Wednesday morning is when we started that process. I'm not exactly sure when the rental agreement officially starts, but I know it will be before the next council meeting.
If we approved enough to pay for it, through tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday, then under $5,000 should get us through the week. And when I say under $5,000, it seems like it would be within your spending authority for the remainder of the week.
Well, the weekly's over my spending.
Unless it's a week, I don't know, is it a flat week
so.
rental? It's not a daily, so it's a week.
And I can try to you know, talk to him about it, but it's weekly, monthly. But Mr. Valley says we can't add it to the agenda, so that's okay. I can respect his. So I'll look into that and see if they'll agree
Right.
to a daily rental.
So
So could you put that on next week's agenda since we're meeting, because that will be next.
Yes. Yeah, we'll make sure we do. But thank you, Mr. Valley. Okay, District Court Blight Program. There's nothing to hand out, there's nothing to do. I just am advising the council that Judge Jason Carter and I have been visiting about the collection program for fines. When I became mayor, the book was over $4 million in past due fines for district court, which includes county, not just city. And I can't tell you how that's divided between county and city, although roughly we figured it as about 2 million and 2 million. It is 3.5 million today. And he and I have discussed a more assertive collection program, because this is collecting, some of these won't even be collectible, but to clean up the books, clean up the past due books on fees and fines in Fields County, and to put that part of that would go to the city and uncollected old fines into a special account for blight removal, which we hope, which wouldn't be appropriated or approved by this body until the money's actually in that account and we're ready to spend it, which obviously could be a while. But I'm just announcing for you that we've created that program and hope that, you know, you don't know for sure until you do it, but we will clean up the books through this process, and we hope to collect, you know, a substantial sum of money. It won't be the full 3.5 million, but it'll be a substantial amount. And one of the things that, and I'm going to throw this one in there with it so we can save on time. One of the two things that y'all have been here longer than me and watched it longer than me, but it's clear to me when you're losing over 100 houses to fire a year, and you're cleaning up about 40 some odd houses and lots a year, or properties a year, you do that math and you cannot win unless you stop the arson in the first place. And the fire marshal is the only way, or the best way in Arkansas law for us to be able to credibly prosecute arson. And we haven't had a fire marshal in many, many years. So I'm hoping that either through this program that we established, or in other ways, we will be able to fund a fire marshal, and that y'all will approve it going forward to stop the problem from getting worse. In the meantime, the fund, I hope, will help us pay for the needed equipment and personnel and whatever else we need to deal with the actual size of the problem. I think at one meeting, Ms. Davis mentioned that she would be for 6 or 8 codes. I can't really remember the number, but it was a large number of code officers. And at the time, I I mean, I don't know what I thought about that, but now I would absolutely agree with it because the size of the problem is more than most people realize, because most people don't travel the whole city. They just travel their neighborhood and to Walmart, school bay. But it's on every block. It's everywhere, and it's getting worse every year. And until we stop it from getting worse, and until we have the resources to adequately deal with the problem, we'll always have this blight issue. Whether I'm here, or you're here, anybody else is here, we're still going to have that problem. And so the best way to deal with that is first make sure we have the resources. And this was low hanging fruit that Judge Carter and I have identified that would, we hope, fund that program and in the future. So I'm just going to make that announcement and move on. But I'll take credit, unless you want to ask questions, I'll take questions about it. Mr. Franklin, city's financial status, you recognize.
Things I got with the financial status of the city. One is, I asked Mr. Turner earlier about, have we resolved the financial issue with Mr. Armando White? Have we resolved that financial issue with them? There's a balance of like $39,000, if I'm not mistaken, and we have not handled that issue. And I wish that we can get some clarity on that. The mayor says that in previous conversation that he didn't enter an agreement with him, but he did the work, and I think that we need to know what's the status of that. There's a lot of other issues regarding financial status that this body is not aware of, and with contracts and things like that. And Mr. Turner, if you will, Madam Clerk, is it about $39,000? Have we even reached the mayor? Have you decided on what you're gonna do with that financial issue?
It's really simple. I never agreed. The city doesn't owe it.
So you mean to tell me that?
I mean, if you want to go around claiming that we owe people when we don't, that's a very quick way to declare bankruptcy. We don't owe it.
Okay, but there are emails from.
No, there aren't.
Okay.
You have emails that say, I want them to use this business.
Conversation.
You don't have any emails that said I approved that
You
project.
don't know what the city attorney has. You don't know what anybody around this table has. Mr. Not Mr. Valentine, you don't know what it's been.
Actually, I did.
You know what I mean? Okay, so you mean to tell me you or your assistant has never had any conversation with these people about Mr. White?
That's not what you said.
I mean, don't play. Come on.
You asking if I ever talked to him?
Yeah.
I invited him to try and get on the city's way.
It's like
So
this.
sure.
I mean, can we need to see what is the status of this, because I'm not finished talking, and it's a lot of more.
Well, who are you asking the question to?
I'm asking to
You want to know the status. Who are you asking?
Mr. Turner.
Mr. Turner, what's the status?
I would have to defer to either Ms. Rams or
Ms.
the
Rams.
mayor.
Can you tell us the status? I mean, do you know? I mean, can we hear from Mr. White? Because there's a financial issue that we need. Well, it is about financial issues, and that's why I put it up under, because I know that if you saw his name, you wouldn't entertain to hear it. So I had to be slick like you and put up under financial so that I could hear from him out of his mouth.
Ms. Franklin, I was just told we can't amend the agenda, and
that's
guests have to be.
That's not
No, sir.
amending
You've
agenda.
approved,
That is
no,
financial.
you have-
Excuse me, sir.
you have a
Excuse me,
policy.
sir.
The city
That
council has a
is-
policy
Mr.
about
Ballard,
guests
let me
appearing
ask
before
the
the
city attorney,
council,
if the city
and
attorney-
it has not been followed. And so you cannot amend the agenda. I was just told by
I'm not
our
amending
attorney
the
on
agenda.
something
This is a
of grave
financial-
nature to the city. We couldn't amend it. No, we can't amend
You're,
it.
Mr.
But you can certainly invite them to come to the next meeting
Mr. Ballard,
and go through the process you've approved
Can I-
for guests to
I mean-
appear before the council.
this is, Mr. Ballard, it says financial issues, right? That's-
It says financial issues, didn't specifically talk about the issue that's
Because
there.
if he had saw it, he had told him, he'd put it at the bottom of the agenda, like everything else that this body puts on the agenda. You see how he puts his stuff first. But financial issue, it ties to them.
Here's the practical issue. We can discuss it round and round and round. I think part of the practical issue is this. the mayor in every meeting has come up, has stated that he disputes that he ever authorized the $39,000. Mr. Mondo White and Mrs. White disagree with that. Mr. Alvin Sims, attorney present, they disagree with that. They believe that the mayor authorized. The mayor has said that he has not authorized it. He didn't authorize Mr. Jones to do it. And he didn't authorize Mr. I hate to say Greg, Mr. Williams to contract with Mr. White or his company or his corporation or his wife and et cetera. Mr. White has actually met with the mayor before. He's met with me before, after trying to get paid. The council discussed this before. The practical issue was the mayor has said privately, and he said publicly, is that he didn't authorize it. And if the city council appropriates it, he's going to veto it. And if you override the veto, he's still not going to pay it because it's like the Constitution, and not only that, he has exclusive right to purchases. He's taking a hard line position at this point, and I'm not saying that his hard line he is going to dispute this regardless. If you appropriate it, he still is not going to pay it, just like he did when Ms. Lee talked about the elected officials' bonuses. He said that's his position. That's his position publicly, that's his position privately. He's sitting here, he can correct me if I've said anything incorrect, but the mayor's taking a position that he's going to dispute this regardless at this point. He perceives it as an impasse at this point because he never authorized it. He said he's not, and you all can go through, this is basically what he's saying, is you can go through the process, it's going to be academic. He's going to fight it every way, veto it, and then still he'd have to have a court order to compel him to pay it, is what his position is. Is that correct, Mayor?
That's correct. And the reason is because it was never approved in the first place. And even though others underneath department heads, other people can maybe miscommunicate, things could be miscommunicated. That's certainly possible. I certainly don't have anything personally against Mr. White or his company. And that's why I invited him to bid, because I wanted him to participate in city projects. He'd been told correctly, I don't know, but I can tell you I did not. And it could not be approved. And the minute we have a process for a reason, the minute we allow city employees, if that's what happened, and I don't know if it did, but at the minute city employees can obligate funds for the city, in that way, the city is going to have a much larger financial problem much more quickly. So it's not that I'm taking a hard line necessarily. It's just that it never was approved. And if you set that precedent of approving things that were not properly approved, then everyone will claim that somebody in the city told them they were going to pay for something, and the process won't be followed. And I'm quite confident you won't find any documentation to the contrary because it never happened. So, Ms. Crockett.
Basically, you saying that you didn't approve this, so you're not gonna pay it, right? I'm just, can I get an
It
answer
was
to that?
never
Ja-
approved.
Okay, so that's why you're not gonna pay it.
$5,000.
Okay, but you got 50 more bills that have not been approved, that you bring to this council to want us to to approve it, and you already paid it. So what's the difference? It's been a lot of stuff that has not been approved, that's been paid.
I'm really not sure what you're talking about.
You don't remember paying any bills that was not approved by this council, that was over $5,000.
Not any bills that weren't.
No, I ain't asked you what kind of bill. No, wait a minute. I didn't ask you what kind of bill.
We have
I
many
just
bills.
asked you,
Ms.
was
Crockett.
it a bill
As you
that
know,
you paid that was
how
over
long have you been on the
$5,000?
city council, Ms. Crockett?
That ain't
How
your
long?
business. You do the research.
How
and
long have
find
you been
out.
on the city council?
Do the research.
You
and find out.
know that the city council can appropriate an approved transaction over $5,000 prospectively, like we do with utility bills, which was Mr. Turner's
No, I'm
earlier.
not talking about that.
Ms.
No,
Crockett,
I'm not talking
but
about.
I am
utility.
talking about that.
Let's put it on the
So
table.
they
You
were,
approved, you
Ms.
said
Crockett,
you did a back, I
you
was talking
you're
there,
arguing.
I was talking, you did
Ms.
a
Crockett.
back draft that's illegal because it takes 2 signatures for the city, but you did a back draft to pay a bill for an excavator that has never been paid, and that was over $100,000. So don't make it seem like just because it wasn't approved by you or by this council that you're not gonna pay it. Don't single that young man out. Just say you don't want to pay him because you don't want to pay him. It's a lot of bills you done paid that ain't been approved. So don't act like you just not paying him because he's not been
Well,
approved.
I disagree with you, and the bottom line is you didn't approve it, nor did I. So if the city's gonna pay bills that neither the city council nor the mayor approved, we're
mayor
gonna be in
can't approve
financial
nothing.
trouble very fast.
That's why we in
And-
financial
and-
trouble right now.
And it's that simple.
That's right. So
So,
we in financial
Is
trouble because
that
of the mayor.
the point of this issue? Are there any other financial issues?
I
Okay,
mean,
go.
but this is one of my issues that, that bothers me the most. That, we have paid, and excuse me, it may hurt somebody's feelings, but we have paid sex offenders with city money. We have paid criminals with city's money. And you don't want me to call folks names because it hurts you real bad. So let me tell you something. We pay and we do what you do what you want to do. Now, if they were a church that you're trying to get reelected, you'll be all over them. Now, no disrespect to anybody, but we created a bill. I saw there when they bring that stuff, when these chickens come home to roost, as you just said, it's gonna hurt you. Stop playing politics with people. You do what you want to do when you want to do it. You're some of the reason why the city in financial trouble. Because Mr. Turner, there are bills there are checks that he tell you all not to sign. Watch this. When he tell you all to sign, when he wants something paid, is that his spending limit? He tell you all to cut the check right or wrong.
Yes.
When he doesn't want to pay anybody, what he tell y'all? Don't cut the check. Am I right or wrong?
Or doesn't address it at all.
Right. But he has said, you got some vendors right now that's waiting to be paid. What did he tell y'all? Don't cut the check. Right? The check can sit there. But if it's somebody he wants paid, like what's the company we talked about? I asked you about the other day. About the guy that the mayor said cut his check the other day and it was cut. What is it? Car
Court, yeah.
Car court, yes. They didn't pay. Every time you turn around, that's your friend that you're paying with city's money. You like to do business with people behind the city's back. How much have we paid those people? Almost like let's be real. Since the financial issues of the city that the mayor pays who he wants, if you're his friend, you will get paid. Or if it's something pertaining to him getting what he needs to get, he gonna do it. Patrick Carter's who I'm talking about, who got a chance, which is illegal for him to use city equipment to do work, but you allow him to use it. Am I correct, Mr.? The equipment that Patrick Carter used was illegal for him to use it, right or wrong?
I'm not sure if it was illegal to use it. If you ask me if he used city equipment, he used city equipment. You have to ask Mr. Ballard if it was illegal.
Mr. Ballard,
Is he a city employee?
No, he's not. He's a contractor. So we gave a contractor some equipment that we hadn't even paid for, like Ms. Crockett said, you did the bank draft for. Don't smirk and smile because I hadn't authorized anybody to use anything. You, sir, the equipment was on, what's the address to that? 112 Y Road? That's where your equipment was sitting at. Ms. Rams, am I correct about it? Y'all don't have to be like that because I have nothing to lose and nothing to gain. I'm not asking for nothing. This man has sit up here and used city equipment. Let somebody use it. That's why we paid for Mr. Hudson. You know, those trees down there behind in the alley that belongs to Helena Improvement District. We paid for that. Mr. Patrick Carter did the work, but we didn't authorize it. You did. Everything, that hole down there that the water department had to go back in and dig up. Oh, we didn't bid that out. He's gonna do it again. It's gonna cost about $8,000. Correct, Mr. Turner? There's a check on the desk for $4,000. He went back. He back down there now to dig up the hole to get $8,000. He didn't get the $8,000 the first time, Ms. Davis. No, man. Not right here. In front of Kemp, down by Kemp. We had the water leak that the mayor got rude with people right here. The mayor got rude with people at Kemp and told them they were doing it about taking my feelings into consideration. Watch this. His friends, you talk about every mayor that has been through here, brother, but you ain't no better than the ones that been through here because you may be a little worse because you have paid this guy $4,000. He keep everything at $4,800 and $4,900. So this bottom one, that's why Miss Stanham have to, when you said pay them, they write the check, they do it because guess what? The bills that you're creating cause us to be in this negative balance because you're gonna pay. When the fence fell down back here, we bought the material, we paid the guy $4,900 to put the fence up. The fence fell back down. We gave him another $2,000. Anything, watch this, his campaign on the head of the Delaware, Bill Dance said the mayor has brought millions of dollars into this economy. Why is that? Because our fire department go down there and work and we pay them. They ain't staying in no hotels, they living here and we ain't getting nothing down there. Wait a minute.
It's fine. This is a city council meeting, not a campaign event.
But Mr. Mayor, don't do that.
Mr. Franklin.
Don't stop me when I
Mr.
didn't
Franklin,
stop
we
you.
have business to take care
This is
of.
my business.
All you're doing is giving
No,
speeches.
no, this is
And,
straight
and,
facts.
and I disagree with
Turner,
everything you
Mr.
said.
Turner,
But this
Mrs.
is not a
Ramsey,
campaign
Miss
event. This
Ramsey,
is a business
Mr.
meeting.
Turner, the fire department has gotten overtime due to those fishing tournaments. Am I correct? Yes, thank you. So are we making money? We have to pay our employees money to go work for a tournament that they benefit nothing from. But the city incurs that debt, Ms. Davis. Your tax dollars, the citizens' tax dollars, we incur that debt because they have fishing tournaments that we use our fire department to pull the boats out the water, take them to their trucks, and we get nothing. But yet still, how that's adding dollars to this economy? How is that? This is the financial issue. Tell the people the truth. You want to win so bad that it doesn't, I don't have to win. I have a home somewhere else. I choose to live here. Let's get it clear. Thank God for a good wife. I choose to live here. And my goal is this, people like you need to be held accountable for what you're doing because the city would not, we had over $2 million worth of rescue money. Where is it? You have spent on, watch this, you decide to, the financial issue, Ms. Davis, with those leaks and stuff. Watch this, you spent almost $1 million to Xylem. You spent some more money that he decided we need an excavator. For what? You didn't have a manager? You got nothing over there that looks like management material. Nothing. Every time it comes to this city, we get these promises, just like you said when you was campaigning, give me a chance. They gave you a chance and looks to me like, I don't think you do, you can never say, hold me accountable. You want to blame these 6 people around this table, go around here and act like we don't, the city council, can I get y'all to, we don't sign any checks. Do we, Mr. Turner? You, the treasurer and the clerk and the mayor sign checks. The city attorney don't sign the checks. Let's be real. Financial issues, Mr. Mayor, once you tell the people the truth and stop beating your council down, because whatever you ask for, Ms. Ramsey, hadn't this council approved it? Anything you asked for? Only thing, when we unappropriated what you asked for, because you sat on it. You sat on, you didn't move quick. If you want those bypass pumps fixed, that'd have been the first thing when the money came, when the money hit the bucket, you just say, hey, look, we're gonna go ahead and get this. You hadn't ordered nothing. It was December 31st, you still hadn't ordered nothing. Right. But when that fence got to, when the river part, Ms. Ramsey, had we paid $5,000 to get that river part cut?
Yes.
Look at God. I'm through with financial issues because you, sir, has bankrupted this city, not the city council. Because Miss Ford, your name on the checkbook is. Miss Crocker, your name on the checkbook. Miss Davis, and mine certainly not. But yours is, and the city clerk, whatever you present to her, if she got it, she gonna sign it. That's why we're behind on bills. You pay what vendors you want to pay. That's what you've been doing. And that's why we're in the financial crunch. I may look funny, but I thank God that I'm not spending the city's money. You, sir, when it comes to what you want to do, you do it. You want to blame everybody around and say, but the buck stop with you. And that's why I'm gonna help it stop with you, because I'm gonna tell you everything I see you do. I'm going to tell it. Because if I was the mayor in that seat, anything that happens, I'll be bringing to the city council. I'll let them vote on it. Y'all, this is what we got. Y'all need to vote on this because I ain't gonna do nothing without y'all. But you make backdoor deals and side deals. Because Mr. Valley, can you help me out? If the person used this equipment, it was at 112 Y Road. Is that what the equipment was, Ms. Ramsey? I took a picture of it. It said behind Mr. Hudson's house. That ditch back there behind Mr. Hudson's house, doesn't it belong to Helena Improvement District? Did we pay for it? Have they reimbursed us? That's why I'm under the one. I rest my case. I ain't no lawyer. Now come on, shoot back. Blame Miss Crockett because she blamed Mr. Franklin. You know what you've been doing. People just don't know, but you want to adjourn now because you're embarrassed because that's what you've been doing. And I'm not getting loud. I still respect you as the mayor, But it's things that you're not doing professionally. You're making backdoor deals. You had a guy who used some equipment that we hadn't even paid for. He had it at his house. Let me take the fire truck to the house and park behind the house. Mr. Valley, you use that equipment. Should some legal action be brought against this person? Since somebody that we didn't approve him to take the equipment to his house. And he don't have to like me. I don't care if nobody likes me. I like me. That's the most important part. Don't worry about it, me. But the equipment that he used, that excavator, he used it. He was behind this house. That's what Mr. Rams, this a bill that came to y'all about a car, a transmission or something.
I hadn't seen that one.
Yeah, but they paid for it. The guy got his truck back on the road. He said the mayor paid for it. So so don't smile at me. I ain't stole nothing. I don't write checks.
I mean, Mr. Frank, I did ask, I would like, I
Yes,
don't
sir.
know if Mr. Valley can, because I'm curious now, but I
What is-
didn't know about if private citizen, if it was illegal or not. I answered that question. I preferred.
If that's the case, it wouldn't be legal. You must be an agent of the city. You must be an employee or elected officials to use the city's equipment. The contractor can use it, let's we spread it out in some contract to authorize them. Because I don't even think the municipality would pay for accident for a third party using our equipment that's not listed as a city employee. But Mr. Ramsey is familiar with that. Is that accurate, Mr. Ramsey? About the insurance?
According to the municipal league, if we have a contractor and we put them on it, then we're liable for it.
So was this person put on this contract?
His contract didn't say anything about using city equipment.
So
He didn't-
Look,
I'm not finished. I'm not finished.
My question I was asking Ms. Ramsey before you go,
Oh.
Mr. Frank, was about would they cover? They were covered, okay.
This person is not in that contract, right?
Why don't you just merge this into?
You wanted a status update on work being done in Eliza Miller Park.
That's
And,
the thing.
and that's the project that
Right.
person you're talking about
So-
was
so
was
this-
working on.
this
So
gonna reflect
why don't
back-
you just merge
Right.
it into that one
Yes,
and we
right.
can round out the meeting?
This don't really hurt you. They received, the Eliza Miller Park received a grant. They had to come talk to the mayor. The mayor decided to just pay somebody $2,500 to pressure wash a basketball court that we ain't even using to paint the poles. But he didn't come to this body. He poured concrete back there that we're not even using. Go back there and look at it. If I have no problem with helping, Mayor Ben, what's the name of this project? Because they only gave the lady a certain amount of money, but I would have loved to help. If you had said, let me go to the city council to get some funding approved, but you want to win, you want to build a relationship with people, you decide to go out there, haul dirt out there, pour concrete out there, get it pressure washed, and the total was over your spending limit. But the mayor's smart. He breaks it up before. He break up the concrete, he break up the pressure washing. All that still is over $10,000, but he broke it up. As a serious contract, Mr. Valley, broke it up. So you can pressure wash for $2,500, you can paint for $2,500, you can haul dirt for $2,500, you can pour some more concrete. The thing of it is, I don't mind helping Ms. Davis. I don't mind helping anybody in this city. But Mayor, what you should have done is say, hey, this agency has this grant, Miss Ramsey, they got a grant. We would like for the city to partner with us. As the mayor of the city, I would have said, hey, let me go to my city council because my limit is $5,000. But instead of coming through us to get the credit, he goes and meet with these people and spends $2,000 here, $2,000 there to break it up. So now the project get a standstill because they didn't ran out of money and he maxed out his authority. So guess what? He's still doing the same thing. Stop helping. Let's work together. That's why it's called a city council. You went down there. Tell them what you did. Tell them how eloquent you went down there and got some dirt, got some concrete, got some paint that we paid for, painted globes, pressure wash this. Tell them. I ain't got to talk about it. You know it. And guess what? And you did all this to say, I'm trying to build a relationship with Miss Hammonds because Miss Hammonds did get the grant. But she came to talk to the mayor. She didn't do anything wrong. The mayor should have came and talked to the body to say, hey, they got this amount of money. I would like for us to fund $10,000 and that the city would help. Just like we do, Ms. Davis, when we had that matching grant with the Bissell, he was on us like roaches about the Bissell, right? Till we approved, then I approved Ms. Ramsey, then Ms. Turner, then I approved the Bissell, but you never come to us when it's gonna make you look good, Mayor. You don't want, when it's about you. That's any dime you spend, let me calm down. Any dime that you spend, Mayor, is city's money. And when you do stuff like that, I've told you before, when you first got elected, you have to come to us. You disregard us. Let's be clear. I don't mind helping anybody. Miss Davis, Miss Crockett, Miss Ford, Mr. St. Columbia, Mr. Eckler. We're on a team. Everybody as a team. When you start doing things right, you're at the end of your term and you want to start doing things right, it's a little too late. Don't come through the back door. Always come through the front door to let me know you're knocking. I'm gonna let you in. When you come to the back door, I don't know you. Start doing things in decent and order. Stop bashing the city council. It may be too late for you, but I hope and trust that you can survive. But I doubt it because it's dark outside. But you got to get this. What they said is gonna build a dog. What a dog? What's about that, Ms. Ramsey? They said it's gonna do a dog park. That's why the concrete back there. Oh, look at this. And who, Ms. Ramsey, have you been cutting some checks for back there? Eliza Miller, you didn't cut the check for the concrete and the pressure wash, didn't you? Praise the Lord. Yeah. See, how much was it?
I don't remember.
But it was a nice piece. It was like in the like 25, and it was where we would see it, right?
Don't know. I don't remember, sir.
Yeah.
I honestly don't.
Well, how about this? I'm gonna move on. But whatever we have spent, can you have it at the next meeting? And can if y'all would get in contact with Ms. Hammonds and invite her so we can help her as well, so as Meals on Wheels, we need to help them too. I want to see, can we help them? So can you give me a financial statement on what can we help Meals on Wheels with? I think they need like $8,500. That's over the mayor's spending limit. But they have, Leslie Galloway and them have been taking up dogs. Anytime you call Ms. Galloway about a dog, she's coming to get them. She only wants that to go to the vet. So we can help her with that vet bill. The mayor, excuse me. Well, okay. Okay, wait.
Make a motion.
Ain't nobody talking to you.
No, I'm talking to you. Make a motion if you want to pay that vet bill, make a motion.
Guess what?
Make a motion. Do something to talk about it.
You ain't done nothing. I'm gonna watch this. What you ever do? I make a motion to pay $8,500 to Dr. Oh, well, we can't do that, right? You got me messed up. It wasn't on the agenda. Don't try to hang me like that. It ain't on the agenda. Push yourself.
It's actually on the agenda.
That's
funding for Meals on Wheels.
But no.
It's on the agenda.
But when I get to that. So you've
already moved into it.
Well, okay.
And it's
I think $8,500 to pay to the vet bills, not to her, but to the animal hospital out there on Highway 49 to pay to get her current where she can still help us with these dogs because she has been doing a job out there. She got a call at Walmart yesterday about a vicious dog. She went out there and got the dog. And I think we should help her since you said we got folks trained in animal control and we don't. I like somebody help me with that motion.
So Ms. Franklin moves $8,500 to pay for the veterinary bills directly to the veterinary office.
Yes.
For Meals on Wheels as incurred. Is there a second?
I'm sorry, Bert.
I second the motion, but I do have some questions on it.
Mr. Davis seconds the motion. So at this point, any questions or comments about the motion?
Yeah. Not. And then, where is a copy of the bill?
I mean, she honestly, she gave me a copy of all the bills. I left her, but she showed me every detailed copy. It was like $27,000.
Okay, I want to send my
Yes, ma'am.
second, and then once we get some bills, we can I'll address.
Yes, ma'am. That's my fault right there. But she did give me the bills. I'm in a different car, but she did give me that. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Ford?
Money that some of these corporations or businesses have pledged, can we not use some of that?
They do pledge to Meals on Wheels directly, but I couldn't answer what they give.
I thought there was some,
Or get.
they were giving some to the city. There was supposed to be some donations to the city from Walmart and from somewhere else. What about?
Once we do the shelters, so I'm hoping that
So it's not available now.
Well, there's no need to feed dogs that you don't have.
Well, I didn't know if they
But she's saying
donated.
that could you use some of that
I
money
thought the
that's
lady
being
spoke
donated
all
to take care of that
a
bill?
month or so ago.
Well,
Since it's for the animal.
It's been donated. It's not been donated to the city, so I don't have that money to give to Meals on Wheels.
You say it's
But I'm
not
more than
being,
happy to call somebody on their behalf if that'll help.
you said it's
I'm
not
not sure
being
that answers your question.
donated to the city. What did you say again?
Nobody has donated any money to the city for animal control or animal or medical bills or any of that.
What is it for? What was it for?
No. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. All right.
No, that's.
This, if you're talking about Bissell's, that they've donated $500,000, I'm sorry, I wish, $50,000 to match $50,000 for an animal shelter. So
I
which y'all approved at last Tuesday.
Okay, but there's no other
Walmart was
donations.
supposed to be giving some money a month or so ago.
There, nobody has written any checks or donated any money, but having said that, if
Because she's waiting on you, and actually, Ms. Ford, you're right, because, the Port Authority, it said.
they're pledges though, they're pledges. They haven't actually
Have you
been.
followed up with them?
I've talked to
When did you
both of
talk to
them.
them?
I've called Walmart.
You
multiple
hadn't called it
times.
because Angela Renzo called me the other day saying she still hadn't heard from you or your chief of staff. I'm still an employee of Walmart. So she said she called you and you will not return her call. That's why she saw me. And I can call her right now in this meeting. We can discuss that. But she said she's called you and your
Ms.
chief of staff.
Franklin,
You have not reached back out to her.
we have called Walmart a couple of times.
She's gave
Ms.
you your.
Franklin, you say that you don't get into day-to-day affairs. You're now getting into day-to-day issues of phone messages and voice messages.
I'm sorry.
And it's not that big a deal. We have called and they haven't called back. I'm not throwing them under the bus. I'm just telling you that we've reached out to them and I have talked to the Port Authority about it. But that they would give money, but they have, let me answer the question. They have to have an instrument to give to. And until you approve the shelter, there was not anything to contribute to. But if they will help and they're willing to help Leslie Galloway, I'm more than happy to ask.
Not
them.
letting Galloway.
But on the table, it's about 8 o'clock. Ms. Davis, you're withdrawing your second at this time pending more detailed or documentation about the bills in question, correct?
You said that, yes, but after I said that, you said that you were going to reach out to somebody to take care of that.
Well, no, I
That's what he said.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you
I said I would be willing to
Reach out
ask,
to,
no,
okay.
please don't put words in my mouth.
I'm not gonna put them in.
What
you
I
put 'em in
said
your own. I'm
was,
not gonna put
what
'em
I
in
said
your
was, I would be willing to reach out to Mr. Edwards and to Walmart on their behalf to pay their bills if that will help.
own. Oh, okay.
So far, they have not given the city any money, although Mr. Edwards has offered at the right time, and I'm sure Walmart will. They usually do. But it'll be more help. It'll help the city more anyway, once we need that money for running the shelter and so forth, which was the context of the conversation before.
So,
But-
so that's
but
not
on
what
the-
I was saying.
But right, so yes, I'm more than happy to do that. So Ms. Davis has rescinded her second. Is there, I'm going to ask again, is there another second to take that place on the table?
I withdraw my motion. I would like to put this on the next agenda.
Alright.
Ms. Davis, I will have a copy of those bills for you
Mhm.
and we will pass it next.
Mr. Franklin withdraws the motion and he's
But
going to
he's
get the
gonna get somebody
documentation.
to
Just
pay, so
forward.
Mayor,
So
Bill,
that-
you go ahead and reach out whenever they can assist since
Yes, that's right.
the need is here right now.
I'll be more than happy to.
So when you reach out to them, can you let Ms. Mills
I
or Wills
will,
know? And if you don't get it, if you don't get anything, let us know so we can so I can still get those bills here because their vet bills are still,
Well-
and so hold on, wait.
Yeah, we're running out of time.
I mean,
Ms. Franklin, You've taken up most of the agenda.
with-
and
no,
we're
you
running out of
did,
time.
what's your water issue, brother?
And then they can let us know next week if they even have 85.
Right, and you can.
They
let-
may not have, it.
Right.
we may not have. it.
Yes, I would want to ask you is that, look, I gave you a report that said that we were $300,000
To the good.
past due in certain bills. So I guess one of my, so what I'm asking is,
Say that slow.
Where would you get the 85 from?
well, where do you want to put them in line? That's what I would,
Excuse
Can
me,
we move on?
Wait a minute. You said we got. Send the letter, 'cause I want to be a P.
approximately
Like you said,
$300,000 in bills that are past due that we need to pay, and that was as of July 31st.
So you need to tell me, we said again, 300 what?
$300,000.
Then we gonna pay, how many days have you? 10, 30, 40?
How many days? I mean, they vary.
What you think? It was 6 months? 3 days? Cause see,
What
he
would
said,
be-
he,
But 60 to 90.
60 to 90 days, we
Not
gotta
3
pay
months.
pretty. Cause see, but Mary, you might want to check your supporters that way. And we don't, and I don't have to do the operation, you do. So that links it with you. I'm sorry that you need to try to figure out how to get out of $300,000 a day. If you had got you a decent water manager in here, they would have spent that money, $400,000 on pump, almost $800,000 on pump. It'd been okay. And here you go back and read your memo about what you said on the 12th. But I'm telling you, you didn't, the money you
Ms.
paid for the
Ford.
excavator,
Ms. Ford.
the money you paid for the
Mr.
excavator.
Franklin, you've spoken enough. Ms. Ford.
Yeah, I know. It hurts, the truth hurts.
No.
I-
Approximately balance.
That's what I would guess, but I would be guessing.
Make that
Almost all of that month. Like when we had 100 and some thousand, we gave the man the 60,000. That's what I'm
That's how
saying.
much
But
it
you
was.
spend another $400 on that, my payroll tax. And you gotta throw me in red on something I didn't pay. We don't put about 380 last week.
It's 8 o'clock. If I was not scheduled to be here, I tried to come just so I could answer. I need to be leaving. So anything that needs me, I'd like to y'all have it on Tuesday's meeting, because you're meeting next Tuesday. But I'm about to leave.
Who will adjourn?
To Jarvis Franklin, there's the need.
Objections.
Objections.
We gonna hear from Mr. White on the agenda to hear from him.
You have time to get him on.